Welcome back to another special edition of Trauma Talk Radio with your host, guest, Freedom Coach, Natasha.
Yes. We're back.
So last time, if you saw the first part, this is a part two. First question was, when your past trauma triggers you, how do you deal with it? And the conversation was so good that it brought up a lot of follow-up questions. So we're going to ask other questions related to this one. So one of the questions that came up during the conversation was, you had brought this up when you were talking, what sometimes people try to avoid situations, or say you said cut people off because of they know it's going to trigger. So
Right.
like, what's a healthy way to deal with that? Like, because sometimes yeah.
I honestly, because I've heard that a lot. I've heard people say like, I don't go around those people, or I don't go to that place, or I stay away from there because I got to protect my healing. And I'm like, but if you have to protect your healing, then you're not completely healed. Because we should be able to be around anyone in any environment and still maintain our internal sense of safety, security, and stability. So avoiding spaces and places and people because we know it could possibly trigger us isn't going to necessarily help us overcome the trauma that has initially caused those triggers in the first place.
And to clarify for viewers, you mean like going to places that's like good for you and healthy?
Yeah.
You don't mean like, I should be able to go anywhere that's unhealthy.
I'm not talking about like,
she doesn't mean that.
I'm not talking about like, I should be able to go to the strip club, I'm not a strip no more.
Whatever, like it means like you should be able to go to healthy environments that are healthy for you, and you shouldn't be worried that you're going to be triggered. So we're talking about that. Just to clarify.
Exactly. And even around certain family members and things of that nature, I believe that we can really get to a point in our healing where family members that used to trigger us just by the sight of them, we're no longer triggered by them. It's really possible to get that far in our internal healing. So absolutely.
And then once again, for clarification, we're talking about going to a healthy environment where you're going to be safe. We're not saying intentionally go to dangerous places. You shouldn't be like, still have common sense, be healthy and safe. There's places where that's normally healthy and around people that would normally be healthy, because there are some people and places you just want to avoid.
Altogether.
We're not saying that.
That's common sense. Yeah, we all know.
Just for clarification.
And the time of day, too, not to go in certain
we don't
areas.
want people to think that, they could go anywhere. We're not saying or be around anybody.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Healthy environments and people are going to be healthy for you. Right.
But so we're really talking more so with this conversation when it comes to triggers. We're talking about like more of the relational component, not necessarily physical. So it's like you can still, it's where you feel you're gonna be triggered mentally or emotionally, where you feel harm internally. We already know not to go to places where we may be unsafe physically.
Right.
That's this common sense. So well, that's what we're talking about.
Common sense.
It's not that common.
So we want to make that clear, right? We're promoting right. It's more spiritual and emotional. Thank you for clarification.
Yes. And then the next question.
Now, the next question was, you were actually telling me, so I think if you verbalize it, maybe answer it yourself.
Because but our conversation brought up another question that we hear people ask is it possible to eliminate your triggers altogether? And it is possible to experience a level of inner healing and deliverance from our traumatic experiences to where we're no longer triggered. If anything, what happens is we become the one that triggers others.
In a positive way?
In a positive way. Mm-hmm. We experience what I call transference triggers. And that's when we may feel the emotions that we used to feel, but they're not necessarily our own. Our healing, the healed version of ourselves makes the person that still has those identifying factors that we once had uncomfortable.
Oh,
It's like
so maybe not
it's
positive for them.
it's pushing them to level up, to it's pushing and forcing them in some ways, not forcing, but stimulating them to look in the mirror,
Right.
because you're no
Right.
longer responding the way you used to their behavior.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
it like puts them in a position where they have to
Yeah.
reflect and have
Sometimes.
introspection.
Yeah.
And,
You,
and it's
yeah.
an uncomfortable
Yeah.
space, energy.
sometimes
it's
you
like,
get to
yeah.
the point where you're
Mhm.
forced to look at yourself.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's,
right.
That's true.
Absolutely. So you
Yep.
can become so healed that you're no longer triggered by someone else, and because you are at a place of healing and you've been transformed, they no longer recognize you. Now it's an uncomfortable energy between you two because they're actually being triggered by your healing. So yeah, that's the beauty
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Your triggers have been eliminated, and now the other
Right.
person has to look in the mirror at themselves. Like,
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the best place to be. That is the goal. That's one of the goals of soul trauma recovery. That's how we demonstrate the healed version of who we can become when we actually do the internal work. Yeah, for others. So it's powerful.
Okay, wow. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. It was just like other information that original question brought up, and we just wanted to
Yeah.
provide additional
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah. We could easily do like a 30-minute talk
Right,
on this.
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So thank you to those of you who sent in this question. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.